Hey everyone, this is Jeremy from MainTakeAway, and in this video we're going to be talking about What Got You Here Won't Get You There, Part 2, by Marshall Goldsmith. In this video you will learn the importance of shifting your focus towards your colleagues and getting over your ego in order to make it to the top. Withholding important information. Intentionally withholding information is the opposite of adding value. We are deleting value. You see it in people who answer every question with a question. They believe revealing anything puts them at a disadvantage. Being bad at sharing information doesn't mean we are willfully withholding it. The two are not exactly the same thing, but the net result is the same in the eyes of the people around us. How do you stop withholding information? Simple answer: start sharing it. Shifting your focus. Successful people become great leaders when they learn to shift the focus from themselves to others. If you came up with a good idea in a meeting, did it spring unbidden from your fertile imagination? Did it spring unbidden from your fertile imagination, or was it inspired by an insightful comment from someone else in the room? When you hear yourself saying, "I'm sorry, I'm late, but the traffic was murder," stop talking at the word sorry. Blaming the traffic is a lame excuse and does not excuse the fact that you kept people waiting. Stop blaming others for the choices you made. We can't see in ourselves what we can see so clearly in others. If you put all your cards in someone else's hands, that people will treat you better than if you kept the cards to yourself. Benjamin Franklin said, "To gain a friend, let him do you a favor." Gratitude. "Why don't you thank her now?" I asked. "Because I want to wait. It'll be more impressive when the job is done." "That may be true," I said. "But do you think she'll resent it if you thank her now and thank her again with a bigger gesture when the job is completed? Do you think she'll resent you for thanking her twice?" Gratitude is a skill that we can never display too often. Me. Each of us refuse to cross the line and begin to make a virtue of our flaws, simply because the flaws constitute what we think of as me. This misguided loyalty to our true natures, this excessive need to be me, is one of the toughest obstacles to make positive, long-term change. The real problem is your self-limiting definition of who you are. You define phony as anything that isn't me. It's an interesting equation. Less me, more them, equals success. Keep this in mind when you find yourself resisting change because you're clinging to a false or pointless notion of me. It's not about you. It's about what other people think of you. Goal obsession. We get so wrapped up in achieving our goal that we do it at the expense of a larger mission. It comes from misunderstanding what we want in our lives. Goal obsession. It's not a flaw, it's a creator of flaws. It's the force that distorts our otherwise exemplary talents and good intentions, turning them into something we no longer admire. Reflect upon our work. Match it up against the life we want to live and consider, what am I doing? And why am I doing this? Information compulsion. People have an overwhelming need to tell you something that you don't know, even when it's not in their best interests. Journalists would have a hard time surviving without information compulsion. People wouldn't call them with tips on a good story, or agree to be interviewed, or spill secrets about their company, or hand out delicious quotes. It's the reason we like to dazzle our friends at dinner parties with the esoteric we know, even when we suspect we may be overstaying our welcome, or why coworkers like to gossip around the water cooler, even when they know that their chatter may get back to the people they're prattling about. We all have an overwhelming need to display and share what we know, and we do it excessively. Study the 20 most annoying habits, and you'll see at least half of them are rooted in information compulsion. When we add value, or pass judgment, or make destructive comments, or announce that we already knew that, we're compulsively sharing information. We're telling people something they don't know. We're convinced that we're making people smarter or inspiring them to do better, when we're more likely to achieve the opposite effect. Habitual winners. One of the defining traits of habitual winners, they stack the deck in their favor, and they're unabashed about it. They do this when they hire the best candidates for a job, rather than settle for almost the best type. They do this when they pay whatever it takes to retain a valuable employee, rather than lose him or her to the competition. They do this when they're fully prepared for a negotiation rather than winging it. If you study successful people, you'll discover that their stories are not so much about overcoming enormous obstacles and handicaps, but rather about avoiding high-risk, low-reward situations and doing everything in their power to increase the odds in their favor. 5 reasons why people don't succeed with their diet or fitness goals. 1. Time. It takes a lot longer than they expected, and they don't have time to do it. 2. Effort. It's harder than they expect. It's not worth all the effort. 3. Distractions. They don't expect a crisis to emerge that will prevent them from staying with the program. 4. Rewards. After they see some improvement, they don't get the response from others that they expected. People don't immediately love the new improved person they've become. 5. Maintenance. Once they hit their goal, people forget how hard it is to stay in shape, not expecting that they'll have to stick with the program for life. They slowly backslide or give up completely. A manager's disconnect. His employees did not understand the company's mission and overall direction. I don't get it, he said. I spelled it out for them in meetings. I've summarized it in a memo. Let's review the situation, the author said. How was this memo distributed? By email, he said. It went to everyone in the company. Okay, author said, but my hunch is that the methods of distribution is all you know about this. How many people actually opened the email and read the memo? I don't know, he said. Of those, how many do you think understood the memo? I have no idea, he said. Of those who understood it, how many believed it? He shook his head. Of this dwindling group of believers, how many remembered it? Another sorry head shake. There's a lot of unknowns for something you regard as vital to your company's existence. You thought your job was done when you articulated the mission and wrote the memo, as if it were one more item on your to-do list for the day. You checked the box, and you moved on. The follow-up. The failure of managers to see the enormous disconnect between understanding and doing. Most leadership development revolves around one huge false assumption, that if people understand, then they will do. That's not true. Most of us understand. We just don't do. Follow-up. Once you send out a message, you ask people the next day if they heard it. When you ask if they understood it, then a few days later, you ask if they did something about it. Believe me, if the first follow-up question doesn't get their attention, the next one will, and so will the final one. So what's your takeaway from the book? Remember in this summary, this is geared towards people who are already successful, mainly middle management people who are seeking to get to the tippy top. So keep that in mind. And if you want the book, click on the link below to get it on Amazon. Share this info with someone who needs it, or tweet at MainTakeAway how you're going to implement this in yourself or your business. Also, share a comment below about what you liked or disliked about this video. You can get What Got You Here Won't Get You There on Amazon for $3.72. It's been rated a 4.6 out of 5 stars by 350 people.